Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And I wanted to just talk about why a lot of people can't really get jobs in 2026. I see a lot of people uploading videos about this on YouTube, so I wanted to kind of give my spin on it. Okay, so I'm going to tell a little personal story of mine. So I had applied to this job, a warehouse job, and I applied to it because the pay was much higher. So I walked in for an interview, right? Me and the lady, we had a decent conversation with each other about what I would be doing for this job. Next thing you know is I went home. And then I called the recruitment lady. And next thing you know, I didn't really get the job. So I was thinking, this easy job right here, and I wasn't able to get it. And the funny thing is about this company, I'm not going to name them, but they kept giving out position after position, and I kept applying for these positions. However, I'm not the only one that had trouble with this, because I'm starting to see online on Instagram, maybe Facebook, and other streaming services. I'm starting to see a lot of people saying that they're having trouble trying to get hired at these jobs, even if they keep applying, for multiple jobs, they're not really getting hired for these companies. So why is that? I'm going to go ahead and talk about that real quick. And I'm going to give my reasons to why a lot of people can't really get jobs in 2026. Now, I still got a small time job myself, but for this video, I'm going to talk about why it's difficult for a lot of people to get a job in 2026, and it's going to be more difficult for the years to come. So, for the first reason, these jobs really don't need you. I mean, think about it. With the rise of AI taking over and the rise of robotics, what's the point? I mean, AI is taking care of everything, and we are just throwaways just in case somebody gets injured or hurt, or maybe fired at their job. Maybe they would call you, but to be honest with you, with the rise of AI and technology, it's going to be more difficult to get into the workforce, and the longer you wait, it's going to become even more difficult. So that's reason number one with the AI, the technology. Reason number two, and the funny thing is about talking about why people can't get a job today is most videos I see is Generation Z talking about why it's so difficult to get a job. And that's actually my next point with the next generation not being able to work. And with that, I'm saying, Generation Z gets a bad rep. I'm Generation Z myself. Gen Alpha is going to get it worse. And I have a theory on why AI is progressing faster and faster. It's because my generation and even the next generation to come after are getting slower and slower, especially with all the concerns with education, some children not be able to know how to read. And that's one thing that a lot of jobs are starting to, especially hiring managers, are starting to look into, which is why they're choosing AI and, older workers for better employment than the younger generation. And that's pretty much it with that subject right there. And reason number three, this is a personal reason, you're probably better off starting your own business. You're better off probably doing something else than trying to get into a minimum wage job because the housing prices are going up, and with the cost of living constantly increasing, And a lot of people having to move back with their parents, like I said, it's going to keep you more difficult trying to get a job in the near future. So this has been a little warning. If you're trying to get into the workforce, you'll be lucky to get hired by a job that you probably don't like. And if you don't like that job, here's a little tip. I would suggest staying with that job that you don't like until you find a better job and you get hired by that job. Then you can quit that job you don't like. But be sure that new job that you're applying for is paying more money than the job that you had quit. Because if it isn't paying more money, then pretty much you're kind of screwed. But that's just my take on it. But this is a lesson to my generation and the future generation to come after me. Get a good paying job. You'll be lucky to get hired by a great paying job anyway. Because nowadays, even if you walk into a building to apply for a job like that, you're not always going to get it. That's pretty much what I got to say about this subject right here. Let me know what y'all guys think. And be sure to comment if you disagree with me. But anyway, this is me signing out.